This IndyCar BitNile.com Grand Prix of Portland betting picks edition of the F1 Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is offering you a chance to win $15 million in prizes with Best Ball Mania 4. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We're also brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any college bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. We're also brought to you by our college football bankroll challenge. Up to $3,000 up for grabs. Get all the details over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bankroll. Get ready for speed.
You just wait, sunshine. You just wait.
Get ready for the passion.
To whom it may concern you.
Get ready for the raw emotion.
Sì, ragazzi! Grazie, grazie, grazie! Dai, forza Ferrari!
Get ready for the F1 Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb. Welcome in, everyone, to the F1 Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Today, it is a Saturday, and you are absolutely correct that you are listening to this on a Saturday. And we're getting IndyCar set up for you this week. Listen, Cody, we're doing this for the listeners because we know that they want to bet IndyCar, but for the love of God books.
Hey, Rod, look. Oh, look, there's odds. Oh, wait, no, there's not. Hey, look, there's odds again. Oh, no, there's not. Oh, there's odds. Oh, no, they're gone again.
We waited all week, Cody, all week, and they gave us a 2-hour window.
Was it even a 2-hour window? I don't know. They pulled them down pretty quick.
By the time I got home, it was gone, and we waited. We said, well, got to wait for some odds. We're still waiting, but at least I found bets because Cody was so gracious enough to give me some screenshots.
Yeah, it's a good thing I nabbed some. I knew it was going to happen, Rod. It's happened to us before with IndyCar. I don't understand. I know college football's here. I know that NFL's ramping up this week. They're great. I love both of them. My Huskers covered this week, even though they lost, but they still covered at least. The NFL's coming up. It's great. Love it. But we can still have IndyCar too. We can bet on IndyCar and football. I'd love to do both. Well, I mean, I don't get it. It's so frustrating, and I know that there's people out there who want to bet on IndyCar. I'm involved in areas of our space. We have people looking for odds, and the F1 Money Gang guys talking to them, and it's like we've been having conversations all week about like what the fuck is up with the odds, like. They just give them to us. Come on. So we got some odds yesterday. Luckily, we grabbed some screenshots. That's what we're going to go off of. Those were from before practice one, and then they were never updated after practice one. So, as at the end of this, as we get to the end of this recording, they're going to be starting practice two. So some odds are probably going to shift around. So sorry, but we're just doing the best that we can with what the books give us. That being said, I think we've found some trends we like, and we can at least look at practice one data and how much does that really matter? So many times like practice one and practice three are so different, depending on how many practices you get, the race results are different too. Lines will shift. Some of the guys I liked, there is outright odds up. So those have shifted a little bit, not too much though. And some of the ones I like moved down. So we're getting a better number now than when I originally put them in the dock. But so when you go to place these bets, might not necessarily be the same odds, but we're going to talk about the guys we like, why we like them, and hopefully be able to hit some of these.
And sometimes that's exactly what it is. And I was telling somebody in another chat that I was in as well, they were asking for F1 odds earlier. And I said, listen, here, or F1 DFS rather, they wanted F1 DFS. And I said, here's the thing, listen to this show because we don't necessarily just talk about the picks, that we don't just give you the picks. We talk about the drivers. I said, so you can take away from these, the drivers that we like and why we like them. And like you said, you can just sort of build your own narrative around them. Whatever the odds are, I mean, obviously, we'll tell you what we think is too low to take them, or if we think it's a really good deal to take them. So when you listen to these with very little odds, or if you listen to them late in the week and the odds have shifted, a good rule of thumb for us is if we like the driver, we tend to like the price around where they're at. So
yeah, and the way that we're building these is based on the track history, based on the current form. It's not based on we're giving our picks 99% of the time before practices happen, before we see any on-track stuff. And that stuff doesn't just go away because practice happens. And sometimes you get a bad qualifying effort, and sure, that changes things. So, if say we give out Will Power to win the race and he ends up starting back in 15th, like you can still bet him to win, but now you might want to look, his top 5 odds might have gone up a lot, and where he's got to climb up a little, and that's going to be your opportunity. So like, you've just got to take it, translate it into your own. Speaking of F1, Rod, we put all our eggs in the Ferrari basket. They start 1st and 3rd this weekend. So being that it's Ferrari, I think I'm more scared now than when I gave the bets out, because everything is going right, and now I'm just waiting for them to fuck it up.
Oh my God. I love, we very rarely, I mean, we've never actually, I think, recorded on a Saturday. So the fact that we have F1 on there, that's pretty damn awesome. So on the poll sits Charles Leclerc, right? Or is
no,
it
it's Sainz. I gave out Shaw to take the pole. Sainz gets the pole. Shaw starts 3rd. Max is right there ready to pounce, obviously. But man, we're still gonna hope for a good day from Ferrari. But I just wanted to toss that out there. At least I feel good about being right that they were going to be good this weekend in general. Yeah. Now I'm just scared of how they fuck it up tomorrow in the race.
I love it. All right. Well, we are here, of course, to talk about IndyCar. We are here to talk about the bitnile.com Grand Prix of Portland. Portland is a track that is now very much just getting into the mix on some of these major circuits. Indy has only been here 4 times in its history. We've seen the Xfinity series come here a couple of times already. Truck series long time ago, haven't been here since 2000, but it's been mostly like ARCA and not ARCA, but Le Mans has been out here, North America, and touring has been out here. A really big run with kart series. The Northwest series has been out for like 2001. They were out. So some of these major series haven't been out on this track in a very long time. Like Indy, like we said, 4 years running for this race in particular. The shoe that is the Portland Raceway. That's what I think this track.
Is that what you're going with? Yeah, that's a good call. I was trying to decide because I was looking at it, and it's kind of odd shape, but
well, it looks like a croc.
It almost looks like a guy like laying down, and he's got like his arms out like this, and he's like scooting along the floor or something. Yeah, doing a plank or something maybe. I mean, maybe it's kind of a stretch, but
it's a 12-turn, 1.964 mile natural road course. The website here says it's relatively flat, but contains several spots for passing opportunities. So we've seen, like we said, we saw Xfinity run here earlier this year, and that was an exciting race. So we're definitely in for something here with these Indy cars, much faster, much more speed that they carry. So I think we're gonna have some fun. Cody, there's a couple of pieces of news that we got to get to before we start laying out our bets for this race.
Yeah, really, just the one really big piece of news, and that's the Linus Lundqvist. Chip Ganassi has signed a multi-year agreement. Starts in 2024. Full-time driver. Obviously, Marcus Ericsson has left the team. He's going over to Andretti, and so they had a spot open. Who knows where we're at on the Alex Palou stuff? But yeah, so Linus Lundqvist, he's going to be the guy who hops over here. We've seen him run 3 races this season now, as he's kind of getting his feet wet over there at Meyer Shank. But yeah, he's the 2022 Indy Lights champion. So if you're from the NASCAR world and you're listening to us, that's the Xfinity series of IndyCar, right? It's their companion series. So won the championship last year in that, and yeah, he's a 24-year-old Swedish driver, and he's competed all over the world, a lot of karting stuff. He's been in the Formula Regionals, the Euro Open Championships, all that stuff. So yeah, and he's got 34 starts in Indy Lights, 8 wins. That's a pretty good record, Rod. 20 times he's been on the podium. So yeah, that's fairly impressive. So this is obviously, if you're your first contract is a big team like Ganassi, they believe a lot in you, and you've obviously shown a lot of talent. And so yeah, this is gonna be a great opportunity for a young guy here.
And he's actually been doing well this season for himself too. And that's the thing about it. Like, we talk about it a lot when we say, if the broadcasters are saying your name, it's either really good for you or really bad for you. And for Lundqvist, it's really good for him. So he's actually been doing very well for himself. So I'm happy for him to get a new ride. Happy for him to be able to stay in full time to the IndyCar series, the big show. So good for him. Looking forward to placing some bets on him. Cause like I said, he's been impressive. He hasn't necessarily been getting himself into trouble. He's been running around the front, been sort of mixing up with the mid pack and the leaders. So yep, all good things for that young man. All right, well, Cody, let's get into some bets, shall we?
Let's do it.
So let's do that. But let me first tell you about our college football bankroll challenge. College football is back. It's happening right now as we speak. And to celebrate, SGPN's giving away a bunch of cash in our college football bankroll challenge. It's free to enter. It's a season-long contest. You get $1,000 to first place, $500 to second place, but the prizes will double to $2,000 and $1,000 if you're a Patreon subscriber for the college football season. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bankroll or click the link in the app. College football fans, speaking of which, are you ready for week one? DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking you up with a can't-miss offer to start the season strong this week. New customers can bet $5 on any college football bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Anything can happen in college football. Cody's Nebraska Huskers can cover. The world could stop spinning, whatever. Your team could go from unranked to dynasty mode in just a couple of years. Change comes fast. The only thing that's a lock is great offers from DraftKings Sportsbook. Army about to kick off. Hurry up, get in on that. Well, it's probably too late at that point. But Fresno State taking on somebody else later in the evening, Purdue. So make sure you grab those lines as well. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any college football game. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. Crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. All right, Cody, like we said, there's just under 2 miles into this Portland, 12 turns to get around. A lot of fun to be had for us as we watch this bet. So where are we going with our first bet?
Just to touch on practice real quick as well. Christian Lundgaard, fastest in practice one. He had opened at 12-1. His odds have dropped down to 7-1. So yeah, he was fastest. Kirkwood, Palou third, Pato Award, Felix Rosenquist round out the top five. Just to touch on that, obviously by the time you're listening to this, second practice will have taken place as well. Again, sorry it's late, but we're doing the best we can with what we got. And hey, that's what we're here for, right? We still got to talk some IndyCar, still got to talk some betting. Only 2 races left, Rod. Palou has this opportunity to wrap it up this week. Dixon, the only guy left within reach of him. I'm going to start off, though, with a top 5 bet. Alexander Rossi to finish in the top 5, plus 175. He was 9th in first practice, so not bad at all, right outside the top 5. But you look back last year, he finished 7th place here, so he was up there in the mix. And he finished 2nd here in 2021. So 2 really good runs at this track. Coming off of a 4th place last week at Gateway. It's an oval. I know it's not really comparable to a road course at all, but it is the momentum factor. And the week before, he finished 5th at the Indy road course as well. Has a 5th place finish at Detroit, 3rd place at the first Indy road course, 4th place at St. Pete as well. So Rossi's had his fair share of top 5s this year. He's been pretty good at this track. And again, not too bad up in the top 10 here. With that 9th place in practice 1. So I will take that plus 175 for Rossi to finish in the top 5.
Well, you definitely got to the dock before me, obviously, and that was one that I wanted to grab too, because as I was researching, even before I was able to get the odds, Rossi definitely stood out to me as a good top 5 candidate. So I like that as well. But I will say that the top 5 odds are actually it's really heavy, top heavy for sure. It's a little tough to stomach those. It's almost like F1 in a sense. It feels like home. So I'll take that as well. All right, I'm going to start with a top 5 bet of my own. Pardon me. Sorry, my voice. I was at a football game last night, so a little hoarse. I'm going to take David Maluka as a top 5 car. He's 6-1. This is a longer shot for a top 5, but as I was kind of scrolling through the list of names, I was thinking to myself, who would make a pretty decent addition up there? Then I looked at the practice reports and I was like, oh, hey, Maluka is actually sixth fastest in practice one. And at 6-1, I kind of like him maybe being able to stay up there. Why? Because he did it last week at Gateway. He was third in Gateway. I know, again, that's not a road course. It's not really that comparable. But he's actually been running around every once in a while the front. I mean, you see him dart his way up to the front, top 10, right? Somewhere in that vicinity, and kind of hang around out there. In Iowa, he was 8th. Again, I know it's another oval, but Fort Worth, he was 4th as well. So he's had his fair share of top 5 finishes in this season, like a few here and there. But like I said, he's fast in practice. It kind of gives me hope that he may be able to put something together on a road course and quite possibly hang around good enough for a 5th place finish.
Yeah, I mean, and the odds are really good for it. Like you said, showed up good in practice. He was on the Speed Street pod this week with Connor Daly, and mentioned he wasn't ready to announce where, but has signed a full-time deal for next year. So he's riding high. He seemed very, very positive about it. So maybe he's coming back to Dale Coyne there, but sounds like maybe he's getting himself a little bit of a bigger ride potentially. So kind of riding high off of the momentum of putting the ink to the paper, and maybe he gets a good solid finish this week. Next up for me, Rod, I am going to go to Scott McLaughlin, plus 140 to finish on the podium. Scotty Mac, he won this race last year. He's been top 5 in 5 of the last 7 races this season. He's got 3 podiums. He won at Barber, another road course on the schedule earlier this year. 5th place at Mid-Ohio, another road course as well. And yeah, it's Scotty Mac is a guy. He's been one of my favorite drivers to bet on since I started betting IndyCar last year. And he's making his 50th start this week, Rod. So hitting it's a short milestone, right? He's still a newer driver, but hitting a milestone here would be a nice story for him to land on the podium in his 50th start. Also going to toss out Graham Rahal for a podium. Where did Scotty Mac? Where was he in practice? We should touch on that. He did not practice very well, did he? Well, where's he at, Rob? There he is, 16th. Yeah, so he did not practice very well. So potentially, maybe those odds will drop a little for him. Maybe he shows back up in qualifying and actually has a good qualifying run for us. But Graham Rahal, a guy I'm going to take a long shot on for a podium. He is plus 500. And Rahal 18th in practice as well, so wasn't super great there. So maybe that one shifts a little as well. But he finished 5th place here last year. He was 10th in 2021, so 2 pretty solid runs over the last 2 years for him. But last week, Rod finished 2nd place at, or not last week, but at the last road course, rather. Finished 2nd place at the Indy road course. Has a 7th place at Mid-Ohio, another road course on the circuit, and 6th at St. Pete, so he's done on the street course as well. He's popped up. He's had some good runs here and there. I think that Rahal could do it again. I think at 5-1, the odds are appropriate. And maybe they'll end up even a little longer depending on how this second practice session goes.
I'm okay with taking some of these long shots because we've kind of seen it kind of shape up into that a few times here this season. And now that it's getting closer to the end of the season, we could see some swings. We could see some teams because we saw the tire strategies and the pit strategies last week even play out. So
the gas strategies. They tried out that extra big tank on Dixon.
they filled it way up in there. So, all right. I liked this before, but I like this even better now that I've seen the practice reports, and they're giving you a group F over there. If you can still find it, if they bring it back up again, maybe they won't because of the fact that Christian Lundgaard has been fast, but group F consists of Christian Lundgaard, Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood, and Will Power. I picked Lundgaard to be the winner of this at plus 280 over these guys. And of course, as we know, Christian Lundgaard comes out, throws down the fastest lap in practice 1. So we'll keep an eye on what he's doing so far through it. But for Lundgaard, last week at Gateway, not really a good week, but Indy GP, right? 4th place over there, a solid day for him. 9th at Nashville. He won Toronto. He was 4th at Mid-Ohio, 4th at Indy GP earlier in the season. He has been one of the solid guys in this circuit this season. Not necessarily the longest of history in this series, but Definitely a good driver. Last year, unfortunately, he ran into trouble, finished 21st, but he started third, which tells me he had speed. He actually even led a lap in there as well. So again, Christian Lundgaard has been assertive all season long. He's been in the mix. He's been making a name for himself. Like I said, he won in Toronto. So there is that for you as well. Kyle Kirkwood, he's actually been good this season too at spurts and fits and points, but last couple weeks, 9th at Indy GP, 15th at Gateway. He also does have finishes at 14th at the Indy GP, 12th at Birmingham, 15th at St. Petersburg. So it hasn't necessarily been, it's been boom or bust for Kyle Kirkwood, and it's been more often bust than it has for than boom. Will Power, this would be the one that would give me a little bit of pause more than not, because he's only got, 5 finishes this season outside of the top 10. So he's been a perennial top 10 runner out there all season long. But I make that 6 outside of the top 10. So he's been very good all season long. 7th at St. Petersburg, 6th at Long Beach, 3rd at Birmingham. But for me, like I said, I even looked at the speed rankings, and like I said, Christian Lundgaard is top. Kyle Kirkwood's right there as well. But you've got to go all the way down to 17th for Will Power in practice one. Now, again, it's not always indicative of what's going to happen going forward. But again, I think Christian Lundgaard being fastest in practice made me pretty happy. Colton Herta, man, he was a talk of the town for a while there, right? Couple of poles at Elkhart Lake in mid-Ohio, a 5th place finish there at Elkhart Lake, but finishes of 21st, 13th, 19th, 11th, even at mid-Ohio. Yeah, he got 6th at Gateway, but St. Petersburg, 20th place finish. Just hasn't been all that fantastic for Colton Herta this season. No wins yet at all. So he's just boomer bust again. So I think, like I said, Lundgaard offers you the best upside out of this. I'm taking him to win that group.
Yeah, I like it. No argument here, obviously, and he showed up and he's fast in practice. So, and with Kirkwood being right there, I'd assume you'll get at least a similar group on these guys if and when they decide to put odds back up. Come on, books, you're letting us down a little bit here. But next up for me, Rod, I am going over to Mr. Consistency, the Iceman, Scott Dixon. They're still giving us plus money for a top 5 for this man. I don't know why, but I will take it. He won last week at Gateway. He won the week before at the Indy Road Course. He finished 3rd here last year. He finished 3rd here in 2021. 15 races, Rod. He finished 27th in one race. He finished 7th in one race. 6th place or better in the rest of the races. 9 of the 17, he's finished inside the top 5. Again, Scott Dixon gets you top 5s, and he will at least be in the conversation for a top 5 throughout the day. He cashed top Honda for us last week at plus 380. That was very nice. So yeah, give me Scott Dixon to be a top 5. That's plus 100 as he tries to keep those very slim 7th championship hopes alive.
I cannot argue with you on that one. That was another one that I was looking at, but lo and behold, I get there and you got it. So very happy that that's in the mix, because you can't not put Scott Dixon on his betting card if you expect to win. So I love that. All right, my next bet, I'm turning to a manufacturer winner bet, and this is going to give you 3 powerhouse drivers in this, and it is at plus money. So like I said, for those of you out there who bet on other sports, we get spoiled with these 6-to-1s and 8-to-1s and 10-to-1s. But sometimes, just sometimes, plus 150 is good enough to get you something, especially when it is the winning team being Chip Ganassi at plus 150. Well, who does that give you if you're new to IndyCar? Well, it gives you the leader of the points and the guy who's probably going to lock down the championship today. That's Alex Palou, right? He's hunting for that. So if he wins, that's Chip Ganassi. Gives you the guy that Cody just talked about, and Scott Dixon, perennial top 5 driver here, guy who is trying to chase down his teammate for this championship. And it also gives you Marcus Ericsson, who won earlier this year, the first race of the season, by the way, at St. Petersburg. Hasn't won yet since then, but he was second at Indy on the Indy 500. Has some top 5 finishes in Iowa, and then a 9th place finish in Iowa, 7th at Nashville. So he's been good all season long. Really, honestly, he's only got one finish outside of the top 10 all year long. That was a 27th place finish at Mid-Ohio where he was wrecked, but I'm sorry, two outside, 11th place finish at Toronto as well. But yeah, I mean, the guy's been solid all season long inside the top 10. If he managed to sneak his way up to a win, he's covered in this as well. But honestly, this is a way to double down also if you think Palou is going to win, which, spoiler alert, may talk about that in a second.
Yeah, hard to argue. I mean, it's they're the best team in the garage, right? Obviously, they've got the only two guys that can still win the championship at this point. Palou himself probably makes this bet worth it. So no arguments from me here, Rod.
All righty. Well, we've got winners to get to, but let me first tell you about Underdog Fantasy. August is almost over. Well, actually, August is over. We are in September now, and time is running out still for you to draft your fantasy football team on Underdog Fantasy. Get championship ready for your home league by trying out Best Ball on Underdog Fantasy. All you do is one live snake draft. No waivers, no trades. You set it, forget it. Underdog does the rest. Try it out with Underdog's Best Ball Mania Tournament. It's the largest fantasy contest of all time with $15 million of total prizes up for grabs, including an absurd $3 million going to the winner. Do you have what it takes to win it all? Yeah, you do. Time is now. Last day to draft your fantasy football team is September 7th. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store and sign up with promo code SGPN. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. If you want several of our Underdog Fantasy picks, go back, listen to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. We give you a ton for this weekend of NASCAR racing. Lots of them over there to find it. Whole episode full. Make sure you're checking out the Sports Gambling Podcast Patreon. We are a part of this family because we love racing. You need to become a part of the family because you love racing and sports and betting and all that other good stuff. Sign up for the Patreon to get exclusive access to contests, including the NFL Win Totals contest with a $1,000 first place prize. This week's Patreon Pick'em is all week one college football. It's prize, you got a cornhole board. Perfect for any college football tailgate. Patreon is a great way to support the network and fight back against corporate gambling. Find it sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. All right, Cody, who is going to walk away from Portland as the winner of this BitNile.com Grand Prix?
Well, Rod, going to stick with actually three guys I've already talked about already. These are the guys I like this week. Again, that goes to, as we get to race time, look at different things on them. These three guys that I've circled that I really like. Scott McLaughlin, 50th start, won the defending race winner of this race. And again, he's just been on a hot streak here lately. Top 5 in 5 of the last 7 races. And I think that Scotty Mac's due. It's time for him to get another win. 7-1, Rod. He is my favorite to win this race. I'm also going to take Scott Dixon, 10-1. Finished on the podium here 2 years in a row, and he's won the last 2 IndyCar races in a row. An oval, a road course, doesn't matter where it is. This guy is one of the best to ever do it. I think he can get it done at 10-1. Imagine ending the season 3 wins in a row. Maybe something happens to Palou. Not trying to jinx your bets, but maybe something does, right? And all of a sudden we got a championship battle next week. That would be pretty crazy. Again, a long shot, but would be a crazy story. And Graham Rahal, I'm going to take him as my long shot, 33-1. Showed us a couple weeks ago at the Indy Road Course what he can do, right? He started up front, ends up getting that second place finish. He's got a couple of top good finishes this season, and he finished 5th here last year, so he's up there in the conversation. I think he can put himself in the conversation with maybe a chance to be there at the end. At 33-1, give me some Graham Rahal.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to go with the guy that is the favorite. We don't normally toss out favorites, but this guy has a chance to lock up the championship. He doesn't have to win to do it, but a win definitely could go a long way in locking that down for sure. So I listen for Alex Palou. You still getting him now. This is actually raised since the last time, since Cody's screenshot. So This is a plus 320. He comes in as the 3rd fastest driver in practice from earlier this week. So listen, he is on a mission. He wants to win this championship. He wants to lock it down today. Cody's talked about him so far this season. When you look at his finishing positions, obviously he had that that stretch of 3 wins in a row. Detroit, Elkhart Lake, Mid-Ohio, throw in Indy GP there the week before the Indy 500, or the day before, a couple days before the 500. But yeah, Alex Palou has been killing this circuit this season. He does not have a finish outside of 8th place. It doesn't matter where he's been in the pack. He has managed to find his way up inside the top 10 every single race. That kind of consistency, that kind of guy that can drive his way from the back to the front, that's huge. And oh, by the way, he's won a race here as well. His first race on this track, he ended up winning. It's crazy. We've had 4 different winners in each of the 4 seasons that we've run this race. It was Takuma Sato the first year, Will Power the second year, Alex Palou the third year, and Scotty Mac last year. So it's been 4 different winners. If anybody can repeat as a winner, I got to think that it's Alex Palou. I got to think that it's this season. And at plus 320, that's still not bad for a guy who is going to be inside the top 5 or top 10 rather, if not the top 5 by the end of this race, which could give him a very solid opportunity to shoot and move toward the front. So his average finish is 3.9. That tells you something.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we've seen it all season from him, right? Like, there's no arguing against Alex Palou. He's had an amazing season. The points lead he built up has been insane. And yeah, likely to lock it up this week. Why not do it with a win? Can't argue against the best driver in the best car in the series right now.
Yep. All he needs is for Dixon to sort of trail back a little bit. So we'll see. But that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. So let's go over the bets for this race. Get out your pen and paper. We're going to go over what we have given you to bet on for this Portland IndyCar race. So Cody started you out with Alex Rossi as a top 5 car at plus 175. I am taking a very huge swing here at David Maluka as a top 5 car at 6-1. Cody's giving you Scotty Mac on the podium at plus 140 and Graham Rahal on the podium at plus 500. I'm giving you Christian Lundgaard to win Group F if it's still up there at plus 280 over Herta, Kirkwood, and Power. Cody's giving you Scott Dixon as a top 5 car at even money plus 100. I said let's throw all 3 Ganassi drivers into a lump and call them the winning team at plus 150. And then Cody gave you Scotty Mac at 7-1, Scott Dixon at 10-1, Graham Rahal at 33-1 to win this race. While I said go ahead, this is okay. This is a week that's okay to lay money on the favorite, Alex Palou, plus 320. Hell, if he has another 3rd or 4th place finish in practice, that number may even go up a little bit more. It seems to me that they raised it based on the fact that he was only 3rd fastest in practice, but that's Palou. He can sandbag it for you. So we'll call that good. But that is the betting card for us there, Cody. It's a quick one, but listen, we wanted to get this easy to listen to before the race.
Exactly. Short notice. And then obviously just the books killing us. We got one more race this season, books. It's next week. There's no F1 to focus on. Give us IndyCar odds nice and early in the week. Let us have some time to talk about it. Get a good long episode out there. One last chance to bet on IndyCar. Please, I'm begging you. But hey, we're going to, as you can tell, we're going to do the best with what we got, Rod. I feel like we got a pretty good card here. Circled some good drivers that we really like. And bet them appropriately, and let's go win some money.
We always do the best with what we got, Cody. That's why they keep coming back to us. So, right. All right. Speaking of keep coming back to us, let people know where they can come back to you and find you.
Yep. Follow me over on X at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my work over there. If you are a football fan, tons of stuff out over there. Gonna have a weekly running back rankings article out for Last Word on Sports. A weekly DFS stacks for every Sunday game. For sportsgamblingpodcast.com article out. So check those out. It can be a lot of fun to do. I've started working on both of those, and it'll be pretty fun articles to write. Some pretty fun stuff going on there. So check that all out. Check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Go back, listen to the F1 Gambling Podcast earlier this week as well with the F1 show. And hopefully we'll see you next week. We will see you next week. No matter what they do, we'll make our own odds if we have to. We'll see you next week for the finale at Monterey.
Damn right we will. All right. Follow me on X at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio to everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it is in between media. I was on with Seth earlier on the back road, laying down some bets for the NASCAR series as well. Like Cody said, check out F1. I've got stuff up all over the place. Just find it all over on Twitter. It's the easiest way to do it. So All right, we'll see you guys next week for the Indy. Yep, for the finale of Indy, and then of course for all the NASCAR. If you're listening on the NASCAR feed, send you off on your way. Till then, let's go racing and let it ride.